Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to J&J Podcast. It's your boy, Jack Emery. I'm here with my man, JVK.
How's it going, guys?
And today we are talking about our season predictions. But today we have got a special guest, Lockie Mathewson. Introduce yourself.
How you going, everyone?
Okay, so Matho, we're going to start off today with a few questions for you regarding some AFL topics.
All right, sounds good.
So we'll begin off with the debate between Cripps and Bontempelli.
Every day of the week, I'm taking Patrick Cripps.
Fair enough.
Alrighty, so the next one is Rioli versus Betts. Who's the better player?
Willie Rioli, Dan Rioli, or Cyril?
Rioli, mate.
Yeah, I think it's Rioli.
I think Cyril's the one to go with you.
Yeah, I'm taking Cyril over Eddie Betts. Cyril Rioli.
Fair enough. He's had more grand final experience. So next, Ablett Jr. versus Senior.
We didn't see enough of Gary Ablett Sr. in his prime because we weren't around. But from what I've heard, he was a freak of nature, that man.
Yeah, my old man actually said that he's the best player he's ever seen. So,
fair enough. Bit of insight there.
Yeah, thanks,
Absolutely.
big Matt Van Kuyk for that one.
Matty Van Kuyk with a bit of insight.
Yeah.
Next one, if you're in a grand final situation and you have one player, who are you picking?
My main man, Patrick Cripps.
Buddy Cripps.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Even though he hasn't had any finals experience?
Oh, he's a ready-made finals player, mate. Clear to see.
I could definitely see it happening. In your opinion, what do Carlton need to progress to the next stage?
Right now, we've got everything. It just needs to gel together now, mate.
Yeah.
So when you say you got everything, so you reckon Carlton are making the push for the finals this year or next year?
Well, push for finals this year, but if not next year. We've got everyone there, maybe one or two more elite players, but
Yeah, I think Cripps needs a bit more help
Yeah.
for you guys to really progress.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
not far.
Would you
prefer
to win a final, win the grand final next year? Not win the grand final for the next 10 years and then win back to back afterwards, or win the grand final next year?
Win the grand final next year.
Really?
Fair enough.
So you wouldn't want to wait like Carlton supporters have waited all this time just to get it back to back?
Well, mate, I wouldn't be talking as an Essendon supporter. You haven't seen a win finals for quite.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I would wait till back to back.
Yeah, maybe actually, yeah, wait for the back to back. Is it a finals win or is it a grand finals win that I'm waiting for?
What, for next year?
Like, do I win a grand final this next year or do I win?
No, so next year, sorry, I might have missaid it. So next year you just win a final, or do you wait for 10 years then win back-to-back grand finals?
Wait.
Because Carlton haven't won a final in a long time.
Wait 10 years.
Wait 10 years, yeah, I agree.
Then go back-to-back and hit the prime.
Sounds good.
So now we're going to start with our season predictions. As the news came in not too long ago, our season is kicking off on the 22nd of June. So exciting times for everyone going around. And we're going to say what our season predictions are for the upcoming year. So first, we're going to start with the Premiership. So JVK, who do you reckon to win the Premiership this year?
I see West Coast winning it this year. In my opinion, they have the best list in the league. And they have shown that as an interstate team that they can win it in Melbourne and the big stage. Mm-hmm. And then I see them beating Richmond. So I see West Coast and Richmond being far and clear the two best teams in the AFL, and I see them going up against each other in this year's grand final, and West Coast just edging them in a close one, hopefully.
No, fair enough. Matho, what about you?
Well, not many people would agree, but they're a very consistent side. Have been in the finals the past few years. That's the Geelong Cats. I reckon they'll go all the way.
Geelong always seem to be in the finals.
Exactly.
No matter what.
I reckon this year they're going to push that extra little bit further. That Sparkle Narkle, I reckon he's the new pink hair. I reckon he's going to
see his haircut, yeah. What is that?
Oh, my God.
What is he thinking?
Kelly this year. Hawkins, another year into him. Ablett, another year into him. Selwood's not getting any younger.
The thing with premierships are these days it's really hard to predict. Like you have Richmond, but then with everyone, it's very hard to predict it since the Hawthorn era and the Geelong era, even though Hawthorn and Geelong will still be pushing this year. Maybe not for the premiership, but they'll still be in finals. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to predict these days. Not as much as it used to be. Not as easy.
Yeah, fair enough. I personally think Richmond will go back-to-back and win it again this year. I think they are the best team by a fair way, and I think Collingwood will also make the grand final this year. I think it's time for the Pies to come back, but I do think they'll lose.
Yeah, my runners-up was Richmond. I forgot to mention that.
Richmond? Okay, yeah. So look, we've all picked Richmond to be the first or second best team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty safe pick.
Stop. All right, so now we'll jump to the opposite side of the table. I think this is a pretty simple one for most of us. Who do we think is winning the Wooden Spoon?
I reckon Gold Coast. I think it's pretty obvious. But I don't have it being as obvious as what people might think. I think it's going to be very close. And I think Adelaide are going to be very low as well. I think Adelaide will be very close to winning the Wooden Spoon, but I think Gold Coast. Adelaide just have a lot more experience. And you see Gold Coast winning it again.
That's fair enough. Matthew, what about you?
I mean, a safe bet would be Gold Coast. But
are you a safe man?
No, I'm not. I'm going to go Port Adelaide for the
Port Adelaide.
Really?
Jeez, that is a big goal.
That is a drop from Port Adelaide. Nearly making finals last year to go into the Wooden Spoon.
So considering Ken Hinkley is getting sacked at the end of this year, he doesn't make it to the finals, and you'll reckon they're finishing last.
Yep.
Rebuild for Port Adelaide, is
exactly.
Fair enough. I think Gold Coast will come last, but not far behind them will be Sydney. I think Sydney are
Sydney
going to really struggle this year. His buddy, I don't think he'll ever get back to what he used to be. He's still a bit overweight, really struggling with injuries and stuff. So, I think Gold Coast and then Sydney are just above them.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we move on to sort of the individual accolades. So, who do we reckon is going to win the Brownlow? Matthew, I'll start with you.
So are we going from 3 to 1 or 1 to 3?
We'll go 3 to 1. Sounds good. So third, second, then winning it.
So third, Marcus Bontempelli.
All right, fair enough.
I reckon he's up there, but he's not quite there yet. Second, Lachie Neale.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a good call.
And first, Patrick Cripps.
It's a big call right there.
It's not a big call. It's not a big call at all.
If Carlton win the decent amount of games this year, I think he's a very safe pick. But if they don't, then I just don't see him getting there. That's fair enough.
All right, JVK, what about you?
So I have. It's going to be very close, 1 to 2 votes between the top 3 for me this year. I have Cripps finishing third, and because of that reason, this team isn't as good as what it should be. Then I don't think he's going to be first or second. And I have Tom Mitchell coming in close. I think he's going to be. He could win it. He could very well win it, but he's going to be very close. And then I have Fife winning back to back. It's definitely not going to be 6 votes more than the second person this year, but it's going to be close. And I also do have a surprise player doing well.
No, that's his. What's the surprise
This is an
player?
interesting. I don't have him doing amazingly, like doing like top 5 or anything. But Seb Ross from St Kilda.
Seb Ross.
12 votes in last year's Brownlow. I think he'll push the 20 vote mark this year, maybe 18 votes around there. He averaged 26 touches last year with 4 tackles, and will be in a Saints team that are going to surprise a few people this season, I reckon.
That's fair enough. So what you say, maybe top 20 in the Brownlow for Seb Ross this year?
Top 15, 20, I think.
Going to be the man for St Kilda. That's fair enough.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, so my top 3, I've got Paddy Cripps as third. Same reason for VK, definitely is one of the best players in the comp. It's a matter of Carlton can win enough games.
Yep.
Second, I've got Dangerfield again. He had a strong year last year. This year, you want to have Tim Kelly taking his votes. Ablett will spend more time forward again, so I think he'll be the main man for the midfield. And then winning the Brownlow, I have Tom Mitchell winning it in his first year back from his broken leg. He was by far the best player in his 2018 year, so I think he's going to win it this year. Fair
enough.
And now also we've got our big calls for the year. So these ones can definitely be controversial. So JVK, what's your big call for the year?
I've got a couple. I've just got 2. One is I don't like to be very biased to talk a lot about Essendon. I'm very hard against Essendon as an Essendon supporter, but I do think Jake Stringer this year will be back in the Bulldogs premiership form. I don't see Essendon pushing finals, probably finishing 11th to 14th, but I see Jake Stringer individually having a really good year. back into how he played for the Bulldogs. And another one, as I said before, with St Kilda, I see them either making the top 8 or coming very close. I think they'll finish between the 7th and 10th mark this year and be looking a lot better.
That's definitely a big call right there.
Yes.
There's St Kilda fans listening around. There isn't many of them, but...
Get excited.
Exactly, get excited. JVK's calling the big year for him.
Exactly.
Matho, what about your big call? What is it?
I've got 2 as well. The first one is a bit more controversial. The South Australian El Clasico, or as other people would call it, the Showdown.
What it is called. No one calls it the El Clasico. But yeah.
The Showdown, as Jacko likes to call it.
The Adelaide Showdown.
We'll see the most suspensions in the modern era for a game.
That is an enormous call.
It's a big call right there.
That is just, could happen any year. That is a big call.
The feud in the media right now between both sides, possibly having to stay in the same hotel, I think it's going to spark a big
dust up in the hotel.
No, big on-field drama. Rory Sloane will be in the middle of it all. And big Texan Walker, I reckon he'll start throwing some fists.
Big call.
But this is my big call.
It's a big call right here.
This is huge. You'll like this one, Jacko.
I'm going to hear it.
North Melbourne to fold and merge with the Tasmanian side.
I like the sound of that.
Big calls. I would love that.
Send them to Tassie. I would
they
love
are
that.
They are the most pointless side in the AFL, in my opinion. North Melbourne. They're always sitting in that 8th to 11th spot, and they don't do anything. They just sit there. Get rid of them. No one supports them. No one likes them. Just get rid of them.
So North Melbourne will fold and merge with the Tasmanian side. So
yeah, cool. The first Tasmanian AFL side, which would be good
to say that. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
That sort of, I guess, correlates to my one with. I've got Hawthorn making the preliminary final this year.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
You love the Hawks.
Well, no, I don't love the Hawks. I just saw how well they played against Brisbane. They've got the best coach of all time at their, disposal, and I think it could be their year again.
Looked promising last year.
Yeah, considering they finished 9th or 10th last year without Tom Mitchell, they pretty much just gained a Brownlow medalist.
Yep.
So, 100%. I think it's a positive sign to the Hawks.
Yep.
So now we've got our big All-Australian talk. So who we think our All-Australians will work. So we can start from, I guess, the back line, then work all the way up from back to half back, mid, half forward, midfielders now interchange.
Should we do fullback? I'll say my 3, then you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so do
3 after that.
Do your 3 backman, and then next person.
All right, I'll start off. So I have Tommy Stewart from Geelong starting at back pocket. I think he's a pretty safe pick. Andrews from Brisbane at fullback. And then, in my opinion, the best defender, not backman, but defending-wise, player in the AFL, Grimes, as the other back pocket. That'll be my 3.
Matho, what about you?
Just quickly, I think that's the replica of the 2019 All-Australian fullback line, VK.
Is it? Well, they picked well. They must have picked well, mate.
Might be.
My fullback line will be Tom Stewart as well. Big man Jeremy McGovern at fullback.
Really?
And Lockie Whitfield in the back pocket.
Lockie, that's you probably want to be halfback flank, but that's definitely not a bad shout.
Rotational
the positions in the All-Australian though, they're not you see players like Dangerfield and Dusty playing half forward most years, and the positions aren't always exactly.
Yeah, so I could definitely see Whitfield making the back line.
Yeah.
Mine's actually the exact same as VK. So I've got Stewart, Andrews, and Grimes. I think they're all pretty much lock-ins.
Pretty safe picks, yeah.
Unless one of them gets injured. Then I'll go to my half-back. First, having James Sicily. No one really likes him, but, you have to I'd say probably the second best intercept marker in the comp, or third. Probably have McGovern, Howe. Then I think Sicily probably the third best intercept mark. And then McGovern, I think he would definitely be a lock-in. And also, The Essendon Speedster in Sard. I think he's run off the halfback flank. We'll see Essendon push to make finals. Not make it, but push to make finals.
Yep.
I think he will probably win their best and fairest and will make him think All-Australian.
All right, I'll go for my halfbacks. Mine's very similar to Jacko. I also got Sard. I think Sard was stiff not to be close to making it last year, and I think he's going to continue his form from last year. I don't see Essendon having a great year, but I do see Sard individually going well. Centre half-back, McGovern. Same. And then I got Hearn at half-back as the captain. As I said before, I see West Coast winning the premiership. I see them, and then I see Hearn, their captain, also being the captain of the All-Australian team.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Matho?
Shannon Hearn at the half-back flank. Harris Andrews is the centre half-back. And my main man, back from 2 ACL injuries, Sam Doherty will be returning to his All-Australian form.
Yeah, that's a big call.
It is a big call. That could have gotten your biggest surprise, that one.
Could have got us your biggest surprise. I don't know if he's still got it anymore.
We'll see. You just never know.
We definitely will see. And then, okay, I'll go through our midfielders. Now, and of course, because the All-Australian stuffed, how they don't put wingers on the wing, I'll, keep it the same. I have Nat Fyfe on the wing, Paddy Cripps in the middle, and Tim Kelly on the other wing.
Yep.
VK?
I think the mids, including the followers, you could put any of them in interchangeable into these positions. I think a lot of them are going to be very similar to each other, but I have Neil on one wing, Cripps in the middle, and Bont on the other wing.
That's fair enough. Matho?
I've got Scott Pendlebury on one wing.
Jeez, back into the All-Australian team.
Yep. Marcus Bontempelli in the midfield. And Lachie Neale on the other wing.
Yep. That's fair enough.
That's fair enough. All right, and Matho, your half forwards?
I got Michael Walters on the forward flank. Jeremy McGovern sitting at Jeremy Cameron, sitting at
Jeremy Cameron,
sitting at half forward. And it's a safe bet with Paddy Dangerfield just on the half flank.
Yeah, that's fair enough. VK?
So for my half forwards, it's just two midfielders. You've seen what the All-Australian selectors have done in the past. I don't pick by position usually most of the time. So Dusty and Dangerfield are my half forwards. I think Dusty was it was incredible how he didn't make it last year, but he'll definitely be back in it this year. And then Jeremy Cameron at centre half forward.
Nice 3 easy options there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My half forward Dangerfield as well. We'll have big Ben Boy Brown.
Really?
And then we're going to have Dane Zorko back in the All-Australian.
Yeah. I see him having a great year again. I think he was class last year.
And then my full forwards will have both Charlie and Jeremy Cameron, so Brisbane GWS. And then also here's a big one that, I don't think either of you two will have. I'm going to have Jordan De Goey sitting in the forward pocket.
Really?
I've got Jordan De Goey in my forward pocket, mate.
You got Jordan De Goey as well.
Really? That's interesting. 2 out of 3 Jordan De Goey. You would have picked that.
He's a big name player, Jordan De Goey. I reckon the last few seasons he's been given a glimpse of what he's got, and I reckon this year he's just going to take
if he gets
to the
his
next level.
consistency right.
Yep.
I'll continue with Jordan De Goey as my forward pocket. Big Ben Brown at full forward.
Yep.
And Charlie Cameron sitting nicely beside him.
That's fair enough. I reckon Charlie Cameron, comfortably the best small forward in the AFL, he'll be in there. As my next 2 picks are my 2 most interesting ones in this team. I have from West Coast, not Darling this year. I think Josh Kennedy is going to have a big year full forward.
Like 40.
And it doesn't matter the age. Kennedy will be back in there. West Coast, like I said before, win the premiership. They're going to a huge year. And then at forward pocket, Jackie Gunston from Hawthorn. I think he's going to
back in, really?
Yeah, he's going to be back in the All-Australian team. Hawthorn are going to make finals this year. Could even push for top 4. And I think Jack Gunston's going to be huge in that forward line.
Definitely a big call considering he plays half his time down back these days. But you never know.
I think he'll play a lot more up forward this year, but we'll see.
We got to hope so. And then we'll go through our, ruckman and followers. So, Matho?
Safe bet with Brodie Grundy. Nat Fyfe, who's also the captain, and Patrick Cripps just below him.
That's fair enough. Mine also Grundy, and then Lockie Neal, and then Tom Mitchell.
Yeah, mine's pretty much the same. Grundy, Fife, Mitchell. That midfield group is pretty much the same.
And then we can go to our interchange. So you pretty much can just chuck whoever didn't make it into the All-Australian onto the interchange. So my interchange, I've got Jack McRae first, Elliot Yeo, Marcus Bontempelli, and then a big breakout year for my man Hugh McCluggage from Brisbane.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's comfortably the best winger in the competition. And now I think he's going to get recognised and make it into the All-Australian. He was close last year.
Yeah.
I think even better this year. I think he had maybe behind Martin the most forwards kicked.
Yeah.
I mean the most goals kicked by a midfielder, and considering that he plays his whole time in the midfield and on the wing,
it's pretty impressive.
I definitely think he could make All-Australian.
The thing with the bench is there's so many options.
Mm-hmm,
it's very hard to pick a bench. I've got Jack McRae as well. Tim Kelly's on my bench. Pendlebury back into the All-Australian team on the bench
as well. Mm-hmm.
And then I spoke last episode about the most underrated player, which is Jack McRae. And this guy's very close to being that player, and that's Shane Edwards from Richmond. I think he's very key to their play, and I think he'll be into the team this year.
I don't know if he'll make All-Australian, but he definitely is one of the most underrated players.
100%. Matho?
We've got big Maxi Gawn,
Mm-hmm.
Dustin Martin, Stephen Cornelio will be sitting on the bench. Coming back from injury. Coming back from injury, and he'll have a big year.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another big call. We might make it 4. Big James Warpedo Warple will be in the.
Warple already. I thought it'd take him a few more years.
Yeah.
But
he won the Hawthorn Best and Fairest last year, mate. So don't get too ahead of yourself.
That's a decent pick actually.
He'll
have a good year.
And then there's a couple of close misses that might be noticeable. Tom Mitchell didn't make it.
Yeah, I think that's a joke.
I think that's mental that Tom Mitchell doesn't make it. I think he's a lock-in. I think he's one of the top 3 picks.
I think he is,
Dane Zorko, Jack McRae, Brad Hill, and Dylan Grimes are all close misses.
I don't know about Brad Hill.
Brad Hill is going to have a good year. I tell you, that could have been my biggest surprise. It could have been. I think he's going to have a good year.
Brad Hill is not a good player at all.
I think he's going to have a good year, boys. Brad Hill, watch out. He's going to have a ripper year.
All right, so that is all the time we have for today. Like you've got to remember, we are just a bunch of teenage boys who love watching our footy. We're not experts, but thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time. See you, boys.
See ya.